We never ask users what do they like and dislike about the product. We ask what's the first thing you enjoyed using the product? So we have a set of questions that we randomize positive and negative signals. If you're actually acquiring with PLG, product-led growth, then I think you need to show more of your product, let people play around with the product outside. So I know the impact of scale of this type of search behavior, and fundamentally it hasn't changed. What has changed is the contextualization with natural language, which comes from social platforms and other platforms to give you a natural response in a language that you understand.
Hey, welcome to the next episode of saas.unbound with Pius.
Hi, so nice to meet you again, and it has been a while.
I know.
And I'm lucky to catch you because I'm just on my way to San Francisco, and here we are meeting in
Bangkok.
Bangkok.
That we work. This is not an advertisement.
No, it's not. It's a great place to be. Right?
It's a great place to be. But yeah, I mean, today we are live, and here finally, there are not too many episodes that were shot like this. But finally, right, we met, and because Pius has been at one of our SaaS Academy sessions, and then he came for an internal one. So we've known each other for a while. And I have to say one thing is that you're probably one of the most meticulous founders with updating investors and people like potential acquirers, because I get this very detailed email every quarter?
End of month.
Every month. Okay. Yeah. Maybe even every month, where you say what's going on, what you guys have built, so it's kind of like building in public, but for potential acquirers. So
yeah, okay, cool.
Yeah.
That's great feedback. I didn't know that.
Yeah. I mean, I really enjoyed it. I was like, okay, we always talk about, if you want to sell a company at some point, you have to build a relationship with your potential acquirer. And we were experimenting with different ways, recommending people, maybe go to our events, obviously, just have calls with us or, some other potential buyers in the future, or, do updates. But how do you do them tastefully? So, you're not just knocking everybody like, oh, this is what I did. This is what I did. So yeah, kudos to you.
I can share you where I learned it, but it's good to know.
Sure.
Actually, the update part comes from my first work when I worked as a data analyst at Facebook.
Mm-hmm.
Everyone in the company was encouraged to fill out something called Colbert report. So my first manager, Avril from Facebook, which was very, very great. So she really believed in me, unfortunately, and Janine, her manager. But Avril really built me up, and then we established a thing where everyone in the team needs to update every HPM, like highlights, people, processes.
Mm-hmm.
So it was kind of ingrained very early on in our culture there. And everyone was doing it in the company, up to Mark Zuckerberg.
Oh, wow.
This weekly updates, and always the same format, and you could subscribe. Because at Facebook, we built a lot of tools internally back then. So everything, because that was all about efficiency and growth.
Mm-hmm.
And one of the co-founders left to build Asana, for example.
Yeah.
So stuff like that. But yeah, that's why I get this feedback sometimes, but I'm surprised because for me it's quite normal. So
yeah,
thanks for that.
Yeah, sure. Absolutely. But, we're here today to talk about subscribed, FYI. And before we do that, I mean, there is Facebook. You already said that. But what's your background? Like, how did you get to do what you do?
Yeah, actually, I always had an interest in science and technology since a very young age. And my dream was also work in America. I don't know why. I thought it's kind of cool. So I was mostly bad in all subjects besides math, physics, and chemistry. I hate languages. I don't know why. I still have a strong accent after all these years living abroad. So I was the best student in math, continuously worst students in languages, or just passed. So then my dream was to work for Google at the time, many years ago, but I got rejected 13 times. And then I applied for Facebook and I got my job within a week. So they really loved my hustle and stuff like this. And I also worked as a cook, I did different things. So they loved my profile, I think. And then I worked as a data operation analyst there. And then I moved into machine learning. And then I moved into growth to Menlo Park. So I was kind of, I think, really lucky my entire life on random people believing in parts of the things I'm good at and overseeing all the things I'm not so good at. That has been, I think, consistently the case. I'm really not good in a lot of things. Like I hate bad managers, like I cannot stand authorities. Like if I don't respect them, I cannot hide it.
Yeah.
So I'm really bad in it. But that also on the good side, I'm working really very hard and long and persistent. So I usually perform very, very well, like in such situations. And then after that, I created my own company in San Francisco at Facebook. On the side, it went very well. We went like from $0 to $1 million revenue in a year with my co-founder at the time, Humphrey Yang. He's now one of the most influential financial podcasters in the US or globally. But we had like some founder disputes, so I bought him out. He became much more successful than me with his company. And I was stuck with my company or our company. But then I sold it a few years later. And I started working for Canva as the first product growth hire on the organic side. So my expertise is really like organic growth, distribution, like what I did in Facebook in my last role. And then I helped Canva like expanding from social into the work suite with presentations and did a lot of stuff. Then also an authentication, sign up, etc., to increase monthly active users and usage at Canva, which I did successfully. So I increased it with double-digit growth with my team. In the beginning, we're 2, then we're 20, 30. And I was very, very good in it. I think that's really my strength. And then I left Canva to create my next thing now here, which is subsig. Subsig is, by the way, the new thing we're doing. It's like the reputation management thing. We can talk about it later. But yeah, doing this for 2.5 years and raised some money last year from First Pick, which is the greatest VC in the Baltics. And yeah, I'm very lucky to be here and still alive as a startup and trying. And now we have great funding team. Yeah, 16 coffee, just 10 a.m. So everything is going very well right now. I'm very happy. Like we have great customers, which I'm most thankful for. Good team, also very thankful that. And yeah, everything is going very well. Yeah.
I mean, hustle is one way to put it. We went to a conference with Pius. Well, he visited the conference where I went. And it was so funny because I was introducing you to another founder. And he asked, like, Pius, what do you do? And basically the 1.5 seconds later, his computer is already on the desk. And he's like, I will show you. And it was like, I saw it, I don't know, 8 times that day. So it's really interesting how you're doing this, and you're definitely like so much into this. But tell me more about this Canva experience.
Yeah.
So there you said you were optimizing for, to make signups and login experience really great. So do you still feel bullish on the fact that, people have to be wowed on their first steps? So onboarding, no questions, has to be a great experience to make people stay.
Yeah, also at Canva, I launched actually the main landing page, and I was responsible for the first experience. The main landing page you see now is actually not changing a lot in the last 9 months. So for the better, before it was like pretty much what our team did. Yes, 100%. I'm very bullish on the first experience. I think the idea that one of our investors, Sean Ellis, he's one of the and my friend as well, friend first, investor second. He's also very bullish on the experience that you create, especially now with AI, about distribution and stuff like that. And when you read his book, Growth Hacking, it's all about launching quick, and even some of the lecture at the time. But I think it changed because the product quality has gotten so high. So the first experience is everything. So when you think about ChatGPT, you can use, I think, almost the entire product locked out, I believe, or Perplexity. A lot of the mid journeys and AI video generating, all this AI generated stuff is basically giving tokens away for free because they have to, since it's so competitive, and they want to show the customer how great it is. One of the companies I find really, really fascinating is called Hyper 3D. They're using the code, and you can upload like a picture. And some of my friends who do it, who run this company, you can upload a picture and it creates like a 3D rendered thing. Okay. So in my high school, I studied or in my bachelor, I did like architecture and 3D rendering stuff. And it's so fascinating how quick and precise it is. So my other friend, Caroline from Spline, she's the CEO there. Obviously, they're doing also a lot of great stuff there. But I think what I love is there's this editor type of thing, and then all this generative AI thing. And the first experience in all cases also like excellent, starting with the landing page or actually showing the product. I think for companies like Canva, it's not necessary that much because they really have the virality and distribution. However, if you go into enterprise, you need to have a great landing page. For all new products, particularly for the companies you work with, advice is like invest very heavily on a great landing page, make the first experience count, show some of your product not logged in, and capture a customer. You cannot measure the ROI immediately, but we have some of our customers we work with where we advise them, give some tips, and then 2 months, 3 months after launching, they have like 3-4 times the amount of users simply because SEO builds up through the experience and how people feel, not just on the technical side of things.
Yeah, absolutely. So, all right. So what you said about, not gating your product and just showing parts of it at least that bring value to customers right away. I think like our first real interaction was when you joined, I think, our head of product for
pricing.
Yes, for a session about pricing and monetization of SaaS products. So what's your take? Like how much of a product can you show before you charge?
Yeah.
Like what's the monetization philosophy right now, and how to not, break the trust or make people go, meh, like when you say, okay, this is where we stop and this is where we charge you?
It's a really good question, and my opinion changed quite a lot from this time, or my opinion or my point of view based on what I know I knew. I mean, back then the conversation was with Daniel, right? Daniel, that okay, till you reach the status, if you reach 1 million ARR, till then you have seat-based pricing, then you go to a mixed model.
Yeah.
I think what we're seeing now a lot is everything is like usage-based with the new. So I think, and it's also very nuanced. I think it's particular for these AI companies a lot. It's seat-based, but actually usage-based in reality. So I think a lot of new AI companies that are successful are actually having usage-based pricing from the day zero. That said, I think for more enterprise-based products like Salesforce, Gong, and these type of really heavily enterprise B2B companies, you cannot show too much of your product. It's actually like bad. You really want to have the qualified audience in your call, let them demo your product. So there the philosophy is don't show too much. So if you more thinking about creating an enterprise style of product, then really don't show too much of your product up front. Make people curious with case studies, etc., on what to use. If you're actually acquiring with PLG, product-led growth, then I think you need to show more of your product, let people play around with the product outside. It's not possible with all the products. So if you have support product, like how do you do it? I mean, one company I really think does a great job with that is PKI. So PKI basically shows on the Logs.io homepage really nuances of the product, like micro animations, and they're in high quality. So we often look at PKI because they're doing an excellent job on the execution of UI, UX, and it makes people feel they're using the product without using it and have some entry points actually using the product afterwards. And then it depends on your competition. So what are others doing? Are others adding a credit card, not adding a credit card? Is it a free trial? I think it always depends there, but I think about what is the price you charge per seat? You want to charge per seat or you're charging per seat, where you want to go, factor that in, see what your competitors are doing directly, see if you're on par with their pricing, their features, etc. So it's fair. And then adjust according how much you can show actually and show versus not want to show versus having a call. So I think it depends on the sales motion, type of product. And obviously for all the generative AI stuff, you want to show a lot upfront to inspire people to start using the product.
So with that new company, Subsig, how did you figure it out? You were competing with big companies.
Not really competing. We see us, G2, Capterra now with the acquisition of Goddard, and also Philip from OMR. I think they're the only ones left, right? Philip and Goddard. Philip focusing on the German DACH market. And,
OMR reviews,
and G2 and Capterra now with the acquisition from Goddard and the team of the other companies for the rest. I think this makes a lot of sense because the acquisition basically enables to create this AI layer for B2B companies. Because one of the problems that our customers face, because we do reputation management for B2B software companies, one of the problems is that, you have like one company like G2 and then you have Capterra and you use these different interfaces. And we have also Trustpilot, you have product reviews, so there are others still. And 89% of the buyers go on one platform and then another. Because they don't trust a single one. And now with this acquisition, basically, G2 controls the B2B software buying markets to a high degree. So our role was never to become a marketplace, even though we have the marketplace. I think, of course, we have this, but that's not our priority. Our priority is to become the layer to help software companies easily get insights, identify gaps, and manage its profiles across different platforms. So I think for the next 2 to 3 years till they integrate these products, we still create value with managing these different profiles and basically having an analytics platform for this, and then also seeing the gaps as your competitor. So you can then manage getting reviews on these different platforms so you win. Even though it's 90% of people who go on more than 3 platforms, it's 100% of LLMs, because LLMs need access to all of this information. And G2 creates now this data layer, but then LLMs will also access it other platforms. So the way we see it is we're like the data layer, that we are the reputation management interface for G2 Capterra that helps optimize these profiles and understand what the competition is doing in a much better way. And then you can action it to actually understand the exact delta and drive more reviews and get more revenues on these platforms, like real reviews, not fake reviews. So we really care about auditing all the people we work with. So we're kind of more like a hybrid between usertesting.com and G2 and a marketplace. So I think we actually are a user testing company. That's also my background at Canva, where we do user testing. And I really care about hearing the voice of the user and making sure it comes back to the product. Yeah.
Right. Okay. So what's your take on, really trustworthy, unbiased reviews? Like, is it a myth? Because, I mean, after all, even if you're just a user tester, right, I think just the human nature is that I am going to be nice to those guys. Like, I am going to say they are better than they actually are. Or, at the end of the day, I won't be able to maybe go as deep into the product as somebody else would, or wouldn't spend as much time with the product as the real user would. So, like, how to work with your users and how to incentivize them to provide the reviews that are actually the source of truth.
Yeah, one thing that we do on our marketplace experiential, and also I think with the users recruit, we see it more like as an insights gathering exercise or research. So we never ask users what do they like and dislike about the product. We ask like, what's the first thing you enjoyed using the product? So we have like a set of questions that we randomize for positive and negative signals to go like really, really deep into understanding what's the actual driver of liking or disliking a product. So we try to avoid asking people what they like and dislike, because no one likes to use a product in a company, needs to get the job done. Like it's kind of like, from my view, a silly question to ask what they like and dislike. It's not like, of course, there's emotion involved, but it's like a job to get done. And you want to understand the drivers behind what makes it more productive, less productive in a way. Of course, liking, disliking, positive, negative emotions are good as well. But I think what is actually good about the product, it's hard to get out if you ask about what you like about the product. So we ask different set of questions. Then we actually create, and companies can do it themselves as well. We create user journeys. So we ask people, look, when you use the product, go here and here and here. Because one of the problems we're solving is when you have a SaaS product, you have limited amount of users that you can access to write reviews. So actually we find potential testers of the product and then test the product that are real, like quality users based on the requirements of the companies. We find those testers and then we run these testers or test scenarios. And then only after the fact, after they tested, they are allowed to write a review. So we just have a different philosophy on how we think about reviews. No one really says something really negative about it. Also, sometimes people don't give the highest rating either. There is this segment of people who complain because they have a negative experience, and they would just do anything to write something negative because they're just upset. And they will share it on Trustpilot, on G2. So you don't need to manage them because they will come anyhow. So you need to manage the negative side of it. And then you have the segment of people who you want to get insights of. So I think we never encourage people working with us on writing a positive review. So we really don't want this. Sometimes people give also 4 stars, 5 stars. Rarely they give 3 stars. It happens, particularly with enterprise products, because often when decision making is not by the end user, but by other people in the companies, then you see a lot of the negative reviews coming through, for example, Microsoft Copilot. People don't like the interface in many cases, but it gets applied top down and it's already in the suite. So sometimes they don't speak so positively about it compared to ChatGPT, which is like a decision everyone makes to use.
Yeah.
But yeah, my view is that, yes, of course, when you have incentivized reviews, it will have a different output on the star rating, but the actual insights can be also very valuable if you design the test framework and the research right enough for people. Yeah.
Very interesting. I wonder, you were talking and I thought, oh my God, it's such a hard work to actually figure out what that review is about. And I'll give you an example, right? So I'm following this person on Instagram, and she has Airbnb business. So she says, I'm always so happy. We only have 5-star reviews. Everyone's extremely content with what we have there because we thought about literally everything. And she says, I was so frustrated. We got a 4-star review. 4-star review because somebody said there wasn't a fan in the room. And then she started digging deeper and figured out, well, first of all, 4 stars is still 4 stars, right? It's not a bad review. Second, the customers who gave it were from Canada, where at the moment it's minus 47. So they're maybe used to a slightly different temperature in the bedroom. And then she started digging deeper into like what is culturally acceptable. So for example, I think I heard it about Netherlands, where the review system is actually backwards. So it's good when you get a 1.
Yeah, in Austria too. Like in Germany, in Austria, it's like 3 stars is great.
Yeah,
5 stars is impossible to read. I think it's also
same for Japanese. Like 5, nobody deserves a 5 ever. I think reading the reviews and like being adequate in accepting them and working with them is also another layer of work.
Yeah, so the first time I experienced this problem was when I worked for Facebook on marketplaces. So I was responsible for launching Facebook marketplaces for jobs, like when you work there, for cars, for Facebook pages in January, and then it verticalized. That was my job in doing growth there. And one of the things that was very interesting is like price range, like $1 versus $4 is very different, but also the reviews. So what does it mean? And culturally, we could see a lot of trends on ratings being very different based on location, where people are from, and type of business. So I think there were like huge nuances on understanding. And then we tried different things on unify it and simplify it, because it's all about scale, like 1 billion or 2 billion users now. So instead of having like the dollar sign or local currency, it's like little, medium, more expensive. So having different nuances, having like great, good, poor experience. So having different type of rating, but ultimately it's the same problem. So even if you do it like this, it changes. Yeah, you need to, I think, adjust to different cultures and just be okay with the rating. I think in the Airbnb generally, I think the superhost status is very important. So I think as a host, you want to make sure you have the 5 stars all the time. Yeah. Usually the host will do everything to get the 5-star. It can have a big impact on your revenue if you have a low rating. The same for Upwork, the same for Fiverr. Because if you have an Upwork and you have a great rating and then it's poor, it can destroy your business. And you build it up over many years.
Yeah, I just started to think about this and I was like, oh my God, there's like, of course you want it just to, to feel good as well about your product, but it is your business. It feeds into your revenue. So, there are so many layers. But I also wanted to ask you, because you told me when we met about what you're building, and you were describing it as, building a richer experience for buyers and for stakeholders. And so I was just on the way here in a taxi. I had this idea, like, do we actually want a richer experience, or do we want to basically, our body to tell us, hey, this is a great piece of software. I'm very happy. Just don't overthink it, use it. So my thought is like, do you have, or are you planning to maybe kind of to pair people who are looking for software with people who already used it, who are like basically have a similar profile to you or similar use case? So, I actually want to hear from that person.
The word of mouth piece. That's a good question. till recently, before AI, a lot of discovery was like between 5 to 20% of revenues of SaaS companies actually comes from review platforms. It's not so high. But now with AI, the entire discovery moves also to ChatGPT, LLMs, etc. So the answers, when you ask what is the best CRM, it's basically a mixture between SEO, crawling, and then contextualizing. It's the review platforms and then also social platforms. So basically reputation management. Holistically, that's why we as a company are subsig and subscribe. Therefore, we really care about not only the review platforms, but also the social platforms that are specialized for software discovery. Like where would you go to figure this out? You probably would go on Reddit, on X, on LinkedIn, etc. So we also try to create our own AI visibility thing, like tracker, but we figured out that it's profound and PKI are doing a good job on that. So we didn't want to enter the space. Is also very crowded and easy to create. So at least in the beginning. So we didn't want to be in this space because it didn't feel like where we want to be. We really care about the human signals and how this shapes, particularly now in the HAI, the discovery and the impression of people like you about software, because you want to know what is the best thing for you that you use as head of growth and in saas.group. So for that, it is very difficult to find this on a single review basis on the internet. But thanks to AI, AI is able to answer your question contextually based on the reviews that are where out there, understands the roles, and then enriches this as well with social comments and information on Reddit, Twitter, X, Hacker News, whatsoever. And then the answer is pretty much, even if AI doesn't find you as a person, because how many head of growth for SaaS buying companies are there? Like 10, 20, I don't know. In fact, not so many. But basically, AI can help them to create lookalike answers on what's best for you. So in the end, you will get a pretty much tailored answer based on what's on the internet. So even though you don't find the exact person, AI is pretty good on finding lookalikes or comparable answers. That in the real world, it will be hard, because in the real world, you need to find the actual review and figure out what's good and bad. For roughly the second you're in, you can find comparable roles like procurement, whatsoever, but it will take much more time. Thanks to AI, it's now really quick because AI can kind of estimate on what you need as a person and then finds the relevant answer to what you get. So yeah, that's how I think about these type of recommendations. The upper generally will be very hard for any given role in any company, just because there's so many variables on figuring out what's exactly best in this case. Yeah.
Do you also, because, where the question is coming from is, we talked to quite a few people who recommend restructuring your content. So it's a bit more readable and more understandable, more crawlable for all the AI stuff out there. Do you recommend a certain way to write a review?
Wow, I'm curious. What was the recommendation? I want to know more.
So basically, in the content environment, a lot of people were talking about focusing on a very long form content, but then making sure that it's divided into so-called chunks, right? So AI can analyze this chunk and this chunk, and every paragraph basically is the answer to a very specific question. So everyone hates this example, but I'll just go there because it's the simplest. So choosing the running shoes, right? You no longer say, these are the best running shoes for a marathon. No, but you write something like, these are the best running shoes for your marathon journey because you have messed up knees and your left foot is slightly bigger than the right one. These
oh my God, yeah, okay.
So
yeah.
Really specifying it for a use case to make it easy for AI to create a persona and then for me to relate to it.
Okay. Most questions. I think generally when we look at the data of the AI measurements we do for companies, their own content is very important. Basically, what you write in your help center, on your blogs and stuff. It's basically role. And then I think there's also this second degree of question you follow up. So basically you ask a question and then you follow up. So yes, there's a element of you need to have more long tail content there and write it differently. fundamentally, I think the content isn't so much different from SEO tactics. However, what's different is that, there might be like more specific questions, etc., like this. I think what we see in small companies, SaaS companies, they are more not smart, they're more quick on adopting and testing out things around content optimization, etc. Bigger SaaS companies, more mature ones, are struggling with it because they have so strong, and they have so strong processes and teams, so they are constantly struggling within the organization. So, for example, you work like with team A, and then there's like the centralized team for SEO, and they want to own it, but they don't own it. So, I think from my perspective, the biggest opportunity now for these smaller companies is to actually take advantage of the scales to enter the market very quick because no one knows what they're doing. So I think in this case, it is very cheap actioning it for a small company, or for you, even for yourself. You can quickly create new content and test it out, and you will see the results very quick with PKI or even Href and stuff like that. If it's going to work, I'm not sure if this is the absolute best strategy in my set of things I know or heard of. But I heard about it several times, so I'm always curious to know what everyone is recommending and doing. I think what we know works is like review platforms, then social engagement, building up your Reddit community and stuff. And then the other thing that's also very important, your own content, like what you have on your help center when people ask about your product. Make sure that you compare your product with others and make sure it's crawlable. Like because if it's crawlable for SEO, it will be for AI. Because the AI LLMs rely on SEO data to be crawled. And that's what I know from my experience working with 200 or 300 million monthly active visitors on Canva.com, because I was responsible for all the logged out experience and at least on the authentication flow. So I know the impact of scale of this type of search behavior, and fundamentally it hasn't changed. What has changed is the contextualization with natural language, which comes from social platforms and other platforms to give you a natural response in a language that you understand.
All right. So what works for you? How do you guys grow?
Us as a company, we kind of hard to compare because we have a marketplace. We have around 200,000 visitors a month on subscribed FYI. That brings us all the conversations we have with our SaaS companies around how we can help them with reputation management and into our product subsig. So for us, we have like zero costs on lead acquisition. Which is great for these type of conversations. We're really struggling with retention though, so I think we're figuring out like ways how we can provide a better product for them. So we're working on this right now with subsig, but obviously really focusing on the day zero to one go-to-market for social presence with your product, and then also creating the content strategy that you have things in place for people, SEO and AI to see. What we're seeing is that AI LLMs are used in parallel to SEO, so people explore AI, but then they still go with the search to Google because Google is much faster. Google now also has some really great AI explorability tools. So I think we will see Gemini in the next couple of months overtaking ChatGPT. I'm almost certain about it. However, I see how I thought like, okay, ChatGPT is dead like a week ago, but then I see the Nuances speaking with other founders like Andrew from Agoda that ChatGPT is just the better interface. And I agree, we try to enforce Gemini on the organization, on our team, and there's things missing in the UX. Like it's almost like when Instagram copied Snapchat or TikTok. I think that the discoverability and the collaboration is much better in ChatGPT. Like still, I don't understand what's so hard about it, but I think it has to do with the size of the organization, and ChatGPT does a better job. So we all moved back unintentionally. Like, let's use Gemini. Gemini has nicer responses, but the collaboration is like so hard. So we moved back to ChatGPT. But I'm not saying they're not doing a good job. It's just different interface that's better for us. So yeah, I think that would be my...
Such a weird thing, right? Like I'm also, I'm trying. So ChatGPT was always the first thing for me. And then I started trying Gemini and Claude. And even though sometimes Gemini for me has better image generation, Claude for me has better explanations. At least I don't use code yet, but I ask it to explain the code for me. So that I think it does it better than ChatGPT. But it's such a weird thing to say. I cannot change my behavior and go to Gemini and default Claude.
Yeah, it feels like a waste of time, right? In all the workflows. Yeah.
You're already used to it, even though it's been like less than 2 years. So like how it's the new default is really beyond me.
The team really dislikes Gemini. And I was surprised hearing the story from this executive at like Andrew, hearing the story about speaking about adoption, and it resonated with me. It's even when I tried to use Gemini, I was like, okay, this is the solution. It's embedded every meeting, Google Meets, etc. And then you start using it, and it's so hard. It's like, oh my god, like why? Like you're missing the table stake features, and then I have to go back to the previous product because it's too much friction.
Yeah, absolutely. So, all right. Yeah. So what's, shameless plug. Who do you want to see at Subsig? Like what's the biggest problem that you're solving, and what's your ICP? After this episode, what kind of companies do you want to come to you to do what?
I mean, we're still in beta, so don't use it yet. And when we launch, I think a lot of things will be broken. Everything is now working already in test stage, which is great. We're much quicker than we anticipated. Anyhow, so next week or so, we hope that we can help all the companies that are small, medium business to start getting their reputation managed on the internet and on AI, on LLMs. So I really hope we can help. Basically, all the other social listening tools are not focused as much on software. And then also many of them moved into enterprise, so they have much higher price points. So it's kind of difficult for them to really serve the small scale market of SMBs, basically companies between 15 and 500 employees. And we want to offer a solution for them that is very affordable and gives them a lot of value. So we really want to focus on the value. So we're going to try to be value first, make sure our product has higher quality than everyone else that we know of. And then we're going to market like this, and we're going to see what happens. So I don't know yet, but we hope we can get as many companies using us, getting lots of value. And then obviously you pay. Our pricing plan will start at $39. There will be a free plan for managing a profile on subscribed FYI, but that's more like a gimmick. But overall, we're going to try to be as competitive as possible, especially in these times. Everyone is cutting costs. It's really hard.
Yeah.
We also offer integration with the AI agents and stuff like that. We believe that human signals will always be important because somehow the AI needs to be trained. And that's why we think our product will exist in its current form for a while, and then it will change maybe into more like an agent type of thing where we are like the data provider or helping to collect the data for them. So that is one future for us. But yeah, we already have, you were at the conference, we had like requests for API calls. So I was surprised on the use case. We knew there was a market, but we didn't want to open it yet, but probably just going to prioritize this as well. So we have all these requests, and we're going to help companies be successful with us in the LLM space.
So another question, since you mentioned it. Yes, so we were at the conference, and like I said, you were kind of demoing, explaining what the product is, and this founder asked you, can I get access to API? And you're like, okay, we don't have it, but we can do it. And that's a bit of a chicken and egg situation, right? So as a salesperson, you want to say, yes, I could do that for you, we'll just build it. As a person who's building a product, how hard is it to say no to such things?
Well, I know the exact product roadmap. I know the team structure. I know what we can't do. Michael was his name. He was great. I loved him. What was his called?
Mitch.
Revved up. I really love the energy of Revved Up and Mitch and his forks. And it was great. But basically, I think we know the exact problem they're solving. I know what we can and cannot do. So I'm like 7% confident we can serve him. And I know that our head of data and AI, Simonas, my co-founder, I know he's keen on testing it out. So I can bring them together. Simonas wants to work on the API side anyhow only. So this is like a great match on what we need to do in the product, because that will be a separate part of the business anyhow, how I see it. Entire different pricing. So we want to work with him to figure out how this will work. Yeah. And we have all the foundations already in place. We have webhooks, we have all of that. So I believe that API stuff should be really straightforward. I think they have requests on they want to have unlimited almost. And then, so I don't know, I think we need to put some guardrails in place but we figured it out. I think it's easier.
Yeah. All right. Okay. Then, just a couple more questions. So what has been, you're going to San Francisco now to demo it really in a scalable way to see who could be your first users. What has been your biggest win and the biggest failure in this last year?
Oh my God. Oh my God.
Only the biggest win will be San Francisco.
I mean, I'm going to San Francisco to meet friends, I'm going there to organize dinner with my friends and founders. So if anyone wants to join, let me know if they're in San Francisco on the 23rd of February.
Okay.
So I'm not going there for business to pitch my product. I'm going there to reconnect because I used to live in San Francisco.
Right.
I'm reconnecting with my friends there and people who build, because I think the energy I was there 2 years ago was like so great. And I want to join it again and meet Felix. I want to meet Luke. I want to meet Amy, all my friends that build stuff there, and see what I can learn and bring them together. So that's first thing. I'm not going there to present my product.
Okay.
I believe our product will be good enough, so we don't need to pitch it in that way. I'm confident. But I think my biggest win is I think we definitely improved our sales motion a lot in last year. We improved our product quality a lot. We have some investors on board who believes in us. I don't know for what reason, but they like what we're doing and the energy we have. Actually, I think they're not entirely wrong, because now we 5x'd our revenue from these conversations to now. So I think there are many big wins, but mostly that we are alive and still building, and we're building into a space that seems very exciting for all of us. And I'm really pumped on figuring out how far we can go. So can we create like a $1 billion company out of it? I know that would be really great. So I'm dreaming about it. I'm quite. I don't love the monetary value. I love the effects that cause it, which is like solving big problems.
Okay.
And building, and I love the creation part and doing it and having the funds on keep adding more value and doing it. I always run out of money. If you cannot pay the engineers, you cannot do stuff. So we need the sales to do that and solve more and bigger problems, and also the funding.
With like pretty much every interview last year has been about sustainable growth and bootstrapping, and we're choosing the slower path. You say maybe we're building $1 billion company and it's great, and I would love that. It's actually, to quote AI, very refreshing.
What do you mean?
Because everyone is saying, okay, we want to be bootstrapped, and we are choosing the more of a lifestyle business. So,
oh my God, I can never do that. Yeah. So speaking about, I cannot. I mean,
cannot chill.
No, it's not about that. I think so the biggest failure was, I think, my partner leaving me. I was like destroyed for many months. That was really rough and stuff like that. But still, in this time, I was able to raise significant amount of money for our business and stuff. So that was great. So considering all the investments I put in it and how I am as a person, I won't be giving up. So I think we will be moving as fast as we can with the resources we have, not building a lifestyle business. I'm not on holiday. I'm working, I think, all the time, because I want the business to succeed so that we can create something impactful for the world. So that's my goal. I cannot articulate all the mission and things so well, but I'm not as good as other founders in speaking about what they want and about the mission of the company. But I think it's overrated. I think it's all about execution and getting to market and learning. I think all this stuff, I'm kind of bored of it. So when I go to this VC panels, and then I think investors are sometimes pissed, because when they ask me what I do, I say, I don't know what I'm doing. I'm still alive. It's my 5th iteration of the product. I'm solving something in this space, which is about reputation management AI. They don't like the answer. Well, if they want to hear, I'm creating agentic AI solution for whatever.
Okay.
But I don't think it reflects the reality. In hindsight, when they build Airbnb, they always know, oh, it was this. Or in Canva, it was the onboarding. But when you're actually doing the stuff and you speak to the founder, no one knows what they're doing. So I think it's just the wrong answer. So I'm not here to please investors with the answer. I'm here to provide. I'm like now 70% convicted we can go to market and create a 1 million ARR company next year. That's what I think. 20% convicted that we can create, actually I think 500K ARR, 70%. I have 30% conviction it become a $10 million company. So I'm thinking about the reality, but do I actually know the extra level of the feature on the payment? No, because I don't have time to understand all of it. And my ICP changes, or actually the problem for the ICP changes. So I'm really not good in the positioning and speaking about this part, but I'm very good in the execution part. And the people that stay with me, that invest, that see that, because they are, I think, working with us for a long time and they like how we work and how fast we are and stuff like that.
Yeah. Okay.
Yeah.
All right. Yeah. Interesting. No, I mean, honestly, it's a bit of a different mindset than
maybe a wrong mindset. What do you think?
I have no idea. I mean, like you said, nobody knows what they're doing, right? Like sometimes you really need to, execute and just move. And even though you don't understand much of it, okay, let's just, start and figure it out.
Yeah, but we do have a roadmap. We do have a financial forecast. We do have a vision. It's not like that. It's like, but we plan a lot. It's not like that.
Also, how many podcasts have I had here where founders said, we thought we're building this, and now we ended up with that, because that's just where customers were. That's how they were using it, and we were like, okay, that's amazing. We can go in that direction. So I think it's not wrong or right. It's just you're comfortable building like this, right? If it was slower or anything else, maybe you wouldn't be that hyped about it.
Yeah, exactly. I think it's also a very personal thing, right?
That's
so
true.
I think everyone is different. Everyone has their own. I think that's something I learned as a win for myself, is like really seeing that, even the people I don't respect, I respect them when they're building stuff. It's fucking hard. So I feel like giving respect to different ways of doing things, doesn't matter who they are. If you're creating something, it usually comes with a lot of effort and sacrifices.
Yeah.
In any case, so I think I really changed my view on just having more empathy on, okay, it's hard, it doesn't matter what I think, and then I'm more curious to learn. Because some people really annoy me on how they I don't know, like bring themselves in a bad position almost with it. And I have a very good profile. I work for Matter, I work for Canva. I did some things right in my career. And usually I get the most pushback from people. I feel I get the most for people who never worked in these companies, who are also a bit jealous that they haven't been there. I get it. And also never build something. And I feel like a lot of people don't want me to succeed. And a few want. And it's the same for every founder. Not everyone is there to help you. And I think we need to support each other. It doesn't matter where you're from, what view we have on how to build the product. I don't like addressing people and how to build the product. It's annoying me, like how to think. But it's okay if they found something and do stuff. It's still great for them. And I love people from Matter and Uber because they're more aligned with what how I build product.
Okay.
But no thing is wrong. Yeah. And when you're in the battlefield, we are all equal. Yeah. We all have to do the same thing. Yeah.
All right. Okay. Then maybe if you can share one hack. It can be about, managing your reputation. It can be something about building a team, going to investors, building anything that works for you, and you think that other founders could appreciate.
I mean, tactically, if you want to build up your reputation, go on G2, Capterra, Trustpilot, build up your profile, claim it, get a few reviews there early, then do the same for Reddit, join the conversation about your product, make sure you're visible there. Do that before the launch, even when your brand is live, so you understand where your competitors are. I think technically every company should do that. Next to on-site SEO efforts, to also get a sense if people are reacting on it and so on. I mean, you cannot list your product on G2 unless you have a product. And then, so that's tactical. That's basically what we do. But now you have the quick version of it, so you can also do it yourself. And then I think as a founder, don't listen to what I say, basically, to anyone. Just listen to yourself. You know best your audience, your customer. Don't listen to me. Like, follow what you think is right, disagree with me, and then do what you think brings the success. And that's something that works for me. Like, I listen very, very thoughtfully to everyone, but if I don't agree with it, I don't always say it. I listen to what feels right for where we are in the business, and then I do it and execute it. Yeah.
It's gut feeling.
Execution over overthinking. That's another tip. Like, just if you think about it, just do it quick.
Yeah, that's a good one. That's what I live by, to be honest.
I know, right? Yeah.
Can you say? Yes, but some of it works, some of it doesn't. But I feel like it's also, if you're an absolute expert, does it mean that you never make mistakes? No, it doesn't. So,
Yeah.
just make yours.
I think I don't know a lot of things. Obviously, I only have some know-how of some parts, but it's most of the things I'm probably wrong about. Yeah, but you can test it and figure out what works.
You're happy about it.
Yeah.
All right. Well, thank you so much, Pius.
Thanks so much, Anna. Cheers.
Cheers to work.
See you in San Francisco, maybe, or wherever. Yeah.
We'll figure it out.
We figure it out.
As always.
Cool.
Thank you for listening.
Thank you for listening.
Thanks for listening. SaaS Unbound is brought to you by SaaS Group. We're a long-term home for great B2B SaaS. We buy, keep the team and brand DNA, and help with the boring stuff like hiring and finance so founders can truly focus on building great products. If you're a founder who'd like to be featured or explore an acquisition, reach out through the form on our website or email me at anna@saas.group.